Hi, good afternoon. I'm Abid Zaidi and I'm with Microsoft. Joining me here is Grace, who's the CEO of Edukasyon, the startup that we're working with as part of our EmergeX program, which actually is part of a Highway to 100 Unicorn initiative that we have launched in the Philippines. Grace, welcome.
Hi, Abed. Thanks for having Edukasyon as part of this conversation.
Great to have you. So as you know, education and skilling is on top of Microsoft's agenda, and we feel very proud that we are partnering with you for this program that we are running in the Philippines. As you know, Microsoft's mission is to empower every individual and every organization on the planet to achieve more. And there is no better way right now in these times to really lean in with partners like you to provide that education and skilling to the population so that they're able to be part of that recovery that the nation needs, right? So you're operating in a very important domain, which is extremely relevant. And other than healthcare, I think education and skilling are those two areas that we need to kind of continue working on so that we can accelerate that recovery that the Philippines or different countries wherever you decide to operate now or later, they're able to really come out of these times through better healthcare, but at the same time through better skilling and education. So with this, there are a few things that I'm going to ask you just to kind of understand where you are coming from, what is the background, what made you start this startup, and what does your startup do basically?
Okay, so allow me to share quickly what Edukasyon does here in the Philippines. First is for us to make sure that we are able to be included as a solution of the journey of our students from education all the way up to employment. So just to give you a quick background of what's the market like here in the Philippines when it comes to the journey of our students. Before the pandemic, at an average, there are 4 million senior high school students who get to graduate. Out of that 4 million, only half gets to college. And then out of that half, only it gets sliced into half again of those who ends up graduating in college. And amongst those diploma holders of that graduating batch, only 400,000 gets qualified to land into a job. So just imagine like not just the impact that you have to really touch on is not just on education because it doesn't guarantee automatically that your graduate is ready for a future. It has to be really a guidance that we need to provide to them from education all the way to employment. And that's why Edukasyon exists. We want to empower our youth to make sure that they make informed decisions, not just with the view of what's so nice to learn right now, but really with a view also of what is that career aspiration that is aligned to their passion and to their interests. So that's the entire journey that we want to impact. Now, what do we offer now during this pandemic? First, what we found out is that the job dynamics have changed. Now that everything has to be done online, just imagine the demand of skills that our Filipino talent should be having when it comes to technology, because that's where the market demand is right now. And what it means is that we've got to really look immediately on the kind of learnings, upskilling that we bring accessible to make accessible basically to our students, to our learners. And that's where we actually want to spend time on and create awareness on so that we could immediately address the job needs of the market right now, while at the same time making sure that those options are being available to our students, to our Filipino youth.
Right. And it's as you mentioned, the population or the segment that you're serving is huge, and there is a lack of enough opportunities that are available to this segment or to students who really want to further their education. Right now, in these times, keeping this into perspective, the current times we have. What are some of the challenges or big challenges that you're facing today in terms of making sure that what you have as a solution is being adopted is and the services that you're offering are being consumed. What are the big blockers that you see when you try and make this service or the solution available to the segment that you're trying to serve here?
Yeah. Two challenges that I could think of right now that's really a pressing issue. First, when it comes to learning, it's not just about being conscious of our students. We need to actually touch the entire ecosystem. Because together with our student, we need to put into consideration the parents, right? Because at the end of the day, they are deciding, they're the main decision maker, especially for students who are minors. So that's one factor we need to consider. Another factor we need to consider is that learning environment or the school system, because they will be the one conducting those modules, giving those trainings and assessment to the students. First big challenge that we've found out, digital literacy. Our students, our Gen Z, they're very much acquainted with technology. They're very much comfortable bringing everything online and using their gadgets. But that level of comfort, that level of digital literacy is not actually at par to those who are conducting the training. And we're speaking about schools, our trainers, our teachers who are in that ecosystem. So first challenge is, how do we bring up the digital literacy of our school partners, of our trainers, our teachers to a good level so that the training, the learning could be at an effective manner. Because even if your students are very much well versed, oh, this is the laptop, this is actually the platform where I could be attending the online classes. But if on the other end, our teachers are not yet fully literate on how it works, then the learning will still not be successful. So that's the first challenge that we are now trying to address. It's not enough that we provide, okay, this is the new laptop that you could use, have the access to the software, when the basic usage of those hardware and software are not yet in place, learning still will not happen. So for us, digital literacy is what we would want to focus on so that there would really be faster rollout of upskilling of our Filipino youth. So that's on the school ecosystem. Second big challenge, especially now here in the Philippines, we are on our second year of being in quarantine. So obviously everything is happening online and at home. Our students, not just our students, I'm sure adults are also experiencing this online fatigue. How could we make sure that the engagement is still equally great how it actually started the first time that you're using it? We're doing experiments right now on how we could bring up the level of engagement, even if it's actually on a sustained second year already of our stay being on quarantine. So for us, we still don't have the final formula right now on how to address that, but at least many experiments are happening, many changes are happening so that we could make sure that our learners are continuously engaged.
Right. And while you're talking about, one of the challenges regarding having basic digital literacy, I think this is where Microsoft, because we launched this skilling program with a mission to skill 25 million people worldwide last year. And we ended up in, 12 months on, we ended up skilling about 30 million plus people. And we are continuing that skilling initiative across different platforms that we have. For example, LinkedIn Learning, MS Learn, GitHub Lab, so on and so forth. So I think, it really it becomes a natural synergy between what you're trying to do and then we coming in as Microsoft and really building that foundation that you need to be able to reach out to those people who are relevant for whatever you're offering as skilling or as part of your education program, different courses. So when you look at technology, considering a lot of people are actually, I don't think anyone is going to school these days. So there is there is right now an environment where people are working from their laptops or different devices. When you look at this situation where everyone is working remotely, how do you see technology, and how do you think it is an important factor which is going to help you really accelerate the initiative that you have started by coming over with the startup?
Well, technology is definitely the enabler, especially right now that the means not just to stay connected, but to make sure that the productivity happens. Technology really is our base available tool. So from the hardware to the software, definitely that's what we're using. And for us, Edukasyon.ph is a website. It's a platform where all the information is getting housed for all the school information that our students needs, to the courses and to other online learning materials that's available for them. So technology is what's enabling us to make sure that even if we are disrupted because of this pandemic, learning should not stop. So we're very much dependent on not just starting, but continuing and finishing this learning journey for our students. And it all happens with technology as our base and as our key partner to make sure that we're able to fulfill our goal.
Right. And Grace, tell me, so I talked about Highway to 100 Unicorn program that we launched in the Philippines, and you're very much part of that program. Um, how is it helping a startup like you, that program, and what are some of the expectations you have from the program?
Well, first, what we appreciate is that sharing of learning. And of course, being a startup, I mean, it would be nice if we could really create things, but it would be nicer and faster for us if there are already learnings done by others, and especially by Microsoft, that we could fast adopt so that we could actually put our attention and our focus to the next bigger thing. So that one, having those learnings when it comes to technology, the tools that's available, and what's nice is not just actually available here in the Philippines, we get to have an access globally of that information and the technology available from Microsoft, even if we are here in Asia. So that one is something that we appreciate. And definitely that's something that will enable us to stay focused on bigger things, because anything to do with technology and tools that's readily available, we're able to pick it up easily from Microsoft and integrate it to ours.
Right. Thank you for this feedback. As I mentioned earlier, we are on this journey, and we'll continue to get that input and feedback from you so that we can tailor our program according to your evolving needs and requirements, so that this relationship is really working to help you accelerate some of the things that you're doing. So I think digital transformation is extremely important, but the pace is right now is equally important. I think we need to together see how technology can play that role, and we are kind of really proud and happy to partner with you there. Now, this takes me to the last question. Where do you see what's the next big thing for you? Where do you see yourself moving when you look at the next 12 months? What are some of the top of mind for you, and what are some of the priorities that you're looking at and gearing up for right now?
Yeah. For us, on next big things for this coming 12 months for Edukasyon. One is the growing partnership that we will be having. Just like what I mentioned earlier, it has to be an ecosystem that we need to impact so that it would really be the entire journey that we're able to provide, improve basically for our Filipino youth. So growing our partnership, not just among schools, but with the private sector, public sector, with the government, and not just among students, not just amongst the schools, but including actually the parents. Because we've got to actually make parents also aware of the different careers, different learnings available so that they could positively influence as well their kids. So that would be the priority, the focus of education. And definitely partnering with Microsoft would be key for that. Another item which is going to be on the students' focus. we've got to continue not just providing learning to them. We are in Asia, and one of the mindsets we need to break is the poverty mindset. If their appreciation of education is something that would really create a new trajectory to their future that could actually not just uplift themselves but also their family, that's what we want to find out. What exactly is the product that could help them create a new perception of what education could be for them so that the value of education will not just be a lip service, but really a true action, a new behavior that will be on their daily practice of life. So those would be the things that you would expect Edukasyon to be very present on.
Right, Grace, thanks for sharing this. This brings us to the end of our conversation, but it's just heartening to see how you have this clear sense of purpose and the clarity with which you're making others like us aware of the great mission that you're on. With this, I really wish you all the very best. But that does not mean that we are not continuing. So we'll continue on the EmergeX program and the Highway to 100 Unicorn initiative with you. I look forward to engaging with you even more and try and see how we can make a bigger impact there.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.